Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Cooking for the Yum of It. I'm your host, Wesley Foreman, and I'm surprised as you are to see another episode so soon after the last one. Today, I will be making a baby spinach and goat cheese frittata, so let's get started. Now to start, before we even begin to prep the ingredients, we need to preheat our oven to 375 degrees. Now, we're going to take 2 scallions and chop them up super fine. I'm going to separate these into their individual bowls because one's going in the frittata and the other will be used as a garnish after it's done. Always be very careful when handling knives. You don't want to cut anything off that you may need later. And that includes your fingers. Okay. And maybe a little bit more here, and that's 1 scallion. And now let's jump ahead to when these are done. Now we're going to take 8 eggs. These are grade AA large. That's 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. And 8. Now we're going to whisk together 1/3 cup of whole milk with our 8 eggs. To that we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and double check that, 1/8 of a teaspoon of black pepper, and whisk again. Now we're going to add our scallions and our baby spinach. Okay. Now, I'm going to set our burner at medium, and as soon as the little drops of water have boiled away, you will know we've reached the correct temperature. Now for this one, you can use butter or olive oil, so this time I'm using olive oil. Spread that around. Don't worry about the popping, that's just where the water and the oil meet. Never a good combination, but sometimes unavoidable. Okay, give this another little stir, and we pour this our timer. We want to give it just enough time to cook until it starts to set around the edges before we move it to the oven. And while we're waiting for that, we are also going to add our goat cheese. This is going to be a little bit more garlicky than the recipe calls for because it's garlic goat cheese. Well, garlic and herb, and it's already been crumpled up for me, so that makes it a little easier. Now, this process should take about 3 to 4 minutes according to the cookbook, but if necessary, I'm willing to wait a little bit longer than that, because it's better to do it right than to do it wrong. This sort of reminds me of the way I cook the cheese omelet, the souffle omelet, or the cheese omelet souffle. And eggs are a very useful, as I mentioned in a previous episode, very useful ingredient. They're the I can do anything of food items. You can make it for anything. I use eggs for practically anything. And they're not just for breakfast anymore, again, like I said before. So let's skip ahead to when this part is done. Okay, it's almost time, but I wanted to show you one way you can tell that if it's setting. You give it a little twist and you can see the edges are hardly moving. The surface is, because it's still a little liquidy, but the edges is the edge of our frittata, which we want to see setting. And that's just about ready. So now let's put this in the oven for about 10 minutes. Okay, it's now 10 minutes later, and we're going to see how my frittata came out. Oh, doesn't that look good? But I've got to make sure. Okay, could probably use a little bit more cooking time, so I'm going to put this back in for a couple of more minutes, maybe 3 or 5, and we'll be right back. Okay, that extra 5 minutes have come and gone. We're going to check again. Oh, it looks a little bit better now. And oh, it smells divine. Okay, it doesn't, seems to be, you always want to check. At this point, we don't want it to be all wobbly. And that looks perfect. Smells excellent. So now we're just going to let it cool down for a bit after I turn off the oven. And we'll dish up and have dinner at 5, in about 5 minutes. A little. You take a knife and you run it along the edge. Now this is for 4 servings, so I'm going to put it into 4 slices, more or less even slices. To there's my here we go. Whenever I don't need it, I can't. It's always in the way. Whenever I do need it, I can never find it. Okay. Now, just give a little of the scallions here. Sorry. And something else you may want to add. This is just something that I wanted. I'm going to add a little bit of mild salsa. Give it a southwesterny flavor. And now I'm going to go eat. So, here we go. Looks so good. So good. And that was a piece without any of the salsa on it. Now I'm going to have some with the salsa. Oh yeah, definitely a good choice. I'm glad I did that. Now, another unique aspect of this dish is that it is completely keto. No carbs hardly at all. So this would be very good for my ketogenic diet that I'm trying to, I keep trying, but you know, I fall off the wagon. So anyway, that's the episode for today. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I plan on making another episode within about 4 days, maybe. Also, if I mentioned in previous episode, I plan to audition for a show with the Chautauqua Community Theater. If I get cast, I may have to cut back on the number of episodes I do, or I may have to announce a hiatus for the run of the show, depending on if I get cast or not. So until next time, please like if you enjoyed the video. Feel free to comment below. Don't forget to subscribe, and then always remember, eat and enjoy.